What up? 大家好，我是爸爸。That's right, son. 我儿子刚出生 I got a new son. While I've been gone, a lot has gone down. Today, we're gonna play a good old game of catch up. So since that video of Diddy beating up Cassie in a hotel hallway, a lot of people have been coming out saying a lot of things. Now, the narrative is quickly shifting from Diddy being a woman-beating douchebag to an R-word enthusiast and an outright murderer. Allegedly. Today, we're gonna take a close look at how this liar is slowly pushing everyone far away from him. This has got everyone really curious what the final outcome will be. Will he go to jail?
We ain't going nowhere. We ain't going nowhere.
我跟你讲哦, Diddy probably ain't going nowhere. By the time you get to the end of this video, you will understand exactly why. So 准备你的爆米花 and your 饮料, because we're about to go deep into the rabbit hole of the very slow and 精彩 as destruction of Diddlestein. Way back when we did the first episode of our Diddler series, there were quite a few people, actually a lot of people, who were like,
Cassie 如果真的被弟弟打很惨，为什么要这么快跟他复合呢？他应该缺钱吧，所以他只能告弟弟呀。
But just last week, the truth was revealed in color no less, as it showed Diddy beating that girl like a dog out in the open, and it played out exactly how Cassie described in her 63-page lawsuit. And the response of almost everyone was a lot of anger.
A lot of people wasn't believing that this stuff even existed, brother. Cassie was telling lies, Gene been telling lies, Lil Rob been telling lies, everybody lying on Diddy. Diddy's the only one told the truth. He said, just keep watching, the truth will soon come out. And you see what came out? My man, he in that little girl in the head. He kicking that little girl like she's a dog, man. Any man who saw that wish they could put their hands on Diddy at that time, bro. It was just crazy, man, for that dude to do that to that girl like that, man.
And with that, the internet was set on fire. And for those who doubted Cassie, even just a little bit, they now reserve the right to keep their goddamn mouth shut. The funny thing is before this video got exposed, Diddy was all up on Instagram talking about time tells the truth and maintaining his innocence and saying that he was being slandered. And this is all part of a smear campaign. This man just kept holding firm in his web of lies and deceit.
It's so difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life. Sometimes you gotta do that. I was f***ed up. I mean, I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I'm disgusted. I was disgusted then when I did it. I'm disgusted now. I went and I sought out professional help. I had to go into therapy and go into rehab. I had to ask God for his mercy and grace. I'm so sorry, but I'm committed to be a better man each and every day. I'm not asking for forgiveness. Truly sorry.
It was all bullshit.
And did you notice something very interesting about this apology video? He mentioned the word I 11 times, but he only mentioned the word sorry twice. And Cassie's name, he didn't even say it once. And what exactly was he sorry for? Because all I heard was a man who was full of regret. Regret that he got caught. And regret that now everyone was starting to see him for the liar that he was.
Going to rehab. Ask God for his mercy and grace.
So when he starts going on and on about how he needs to go to rehab and how he needs to get right with God and trying to play himself as the victim, the only thing I kept wondering is what could we possibly do to help you meet God face to face? Because real talk, this whole video seemed like he was just talking in the mirror, talking to himself. And do you remember years back during the Johnny Depp trial, one of Johnny's lawyers named Ben Chew? No relation, but he saw this video and what he revealed was that this was a PR and lawyer's ultimate nightmare.
I would not have had my client give a statement on the heels of the release of that video, and I certainly wouldn't have had him release that statement because I think it will be fodder for future examinations and deposition testimony, none of which is going to be good for Mr. Combs. The kind of top-notch criminal lawyers you often have on your show would certainly have advised him to stay quiet. He's just thrown out the window any potential objection to the authenticity of the video. Also, I think what he said was really not helpful at all. As you know, being intoxicated is only a defense to certain specific intent crimes like first-degree murder. So saying that he was drunk doesn't help him legally, undercuts the sincerity or apparent sincerity of any apology.
Well done, Chewy. It wasn't only Depp's lawyer who couldn't stand this whack-ass apology. Even Diddy's former bodyguard came out after seeing this apology, and he had a very few choice words to say.
He's up to the same games. He never mentioned Cassie's name in that apology, so to me, he didn't humble himself enough. I think he said what people wanted to hear, not what he felt. It didn't surprise me when I saw it because I've seen things to this nature before. I've gotten in between things of this nature before. And this was back in 2012. So that's why I was so adamant on what I said yesterday after he posted that apology, because it comes a time where it's like, you can't just say anything you want to say and think that people gonna accept it. You know what I'm saying? I think it's a God syndrome.
One thing you need to know about celebrities is that bodyguards are some of the closest people who ever come in contact with them. They hold all the secrets. And when two of Diddy's bodyguards decide to come forward and spill the beans, you know all hell is about to break loose. Because according to them, it wasn't just young women that Diddy liked to put his hands on. Apparently, his mother could catch them hands too. Do you remember back in our first episode where Diddy's lawsuit detailed an incident where she was at a party and how this guy had agreed to become her music manager, and that triggered the fuck out of Diddy so much that he escorted Cassie outside to show him how big his shoe was up front and personal? Well, during that size 10 shoe fitting / inspection, my man was so brutal, so cool fun that the head of Diddy's security team stepped in to shut that shit down. This guy's name was Roger Bonds, the man in charge of all the bodyguards who were on Diddy's detail. When someone that up close and personal, who knows all your secrets, comes forward, that's when you know. They
came out of the black tie affair on Sunset Boulevard, and she was talking to a manager, and I was standing there, and then he just came out and went crazy. You know what I'm saying? I didn't understand why, but I knew that we was on Sunset Boulevard, and I grabbed him and I said, "Yo, what are you doing? Like, what did she do?" And she just ran on the side of the car, and she bent down, and he took off from me, and he commenced to hitting her. And I pulled him off of her, and I threw him in the car. And then I grabbed her and I threw her in the car. And they continued to fight for about another block or two. And then he sat there. He just shook his head and said, "Take me home." Once we got her home, he then had his assistant get a hotel room at the London Hotel. And they took her over to the London Hotel for a week. And my job was to just go check on her, and I went and checked on her every day. She showed me some bruises on her chest, and she showed me her eye, and she just started crying.
So this guy came forward and spilled the beans on P Diddy. And you have to understand that someone like this has been close to Diddy for a very long time. He doesn't believe Diddy's apology one bit.
When you go through life just paying your way out, I really feel like he wasn't sorry about that. Yeah, he might be sorry now. He's sorry that he got caught. But if that was a one-time incident, then I would say accept his apology. But I think in that apology, he said what he thought people wanted to hear. I feel from the apology that it was a self-centered apology. I didn't see no tears. I just seen something that people would feel that had to be done. I didn't feel the remorse. I'm not one to say whether he was or whether he wasn't, but saying that you went to get help, where's the proof that you went to get help? Why you didn't say her name at this particular time? And then I found it funny that this was 2016. So in my mind, I felt like it was the beginning of an end, because I do really feel like other people are gonna come forward.
And you remember back in Cassie's suit when she said that Diddy had paid the hotel staff $50,000 to delete all the footage of him beating that girl senseless? Well, before they deleted that footage, they gave one copy of the tape to Cassie herself.
Got your ass.
So big ups to the hotel staff for sticking it to him on that one. And you might be wondering, why release this video now at this time? Well, my guess is that Cassie wanted to get that $34 million settlement first. And then once the check was cashed, she wanted to get her goddamn revenge. Because let's be real, if Diddy knew that Cassie was in possession of that tape, he probably would have stipulated in the settlement that she couldn't reveal it. This was a very brilliant move by Cassie and her team, because not only did they get their paper, not only did they get their revenge, but they also got their insurance. Because if somehow Diddy ends up getting his way and going free, Cassie might be in danger.
Cassie working with the feds because if Diddy beat this, you think he gonna let her enjoy that money? Let's be real. You took $39 million from me and I can get you knocked off for $100,000. Stop playing with me. Only reason I can't do it right now because the feds on me. If I beat this case, I got something for you. Think it's over? You think you finna jolly go locky around, bitch? No, you and your husband not safe. I'm finna use every resource I have to get to y'all. It's not only until I hear about y'all's situation after that I will be satisfied. So Cassie really I think she really trying to get him out of there because she know if he beat this, I think something's gonna happen to her mysteriously.
So at the end of the last chapter, I mentioned that Diddy not only beats his women, but he also beats his mother.
Bruh, Kirk Burroughs, the president at the time, a bad boy, told me that he smacked his mother. I remember we was in the car. It was me, Puff, and his mother got in the car with us. And we was in the limousine. His mother got in the car. He was on the phone talking about somebody or something. And then he said to his mother, yo, didn't I tell you to stay out my MF business? Yo, I want to snatch the fucking shadow off him. I said, boy, who you talking to? If you ever talk to your mother like that again, around me, I'm gonna beat the shit out you. Y'all thinking that, oh, this is his bodyguard and everything like that. Y'all call them OGs, y'all call them lieutenants and everything like that. I was one of the leaders of the same gang at the time. I'm not gonna let him, as a man and as a person that I am, disrespect his mama. I said, boy, if you ever talk to your mama like that again around me, I'm gonna beat the shit out you. But Gene, I told her to stay out of business. Let me just say this to you right now. If she wasn't for her, you wouldn't have no business.
Now, for those of you who might be doubting their credibility, you need to remember that these are two people who were around Diddy almost 24/7, which means for the most part, they probably saw the real, true side of Diddy that most people did not see. And when the people who are in charge of protecting your life come out against you, that's when you know that your life probably ain't worth protecting. In other words,
You go to hell and you die.
How many times did you personally witness him be violent towards women?
Around 4 or 5 times.
And was that all with Cassie, or was it Cassie and other women?
I seen him with Cassie and I seen him with Kim Porter, his kid's mother.
Right, who's now sadly no longer with us. But what did you see him do?
I've seen him get physical. I've seen him get really physical, grab him up. And one thing about Kim is Kim got to the point where she fought back because she realized how powerful she was. It was one incident on Sunset Boulevard in front of the Beverly Hills Hotel where I just seen the car rocking back and forth. I seen the car shaking, so I opened the door. I said, what are you doing? You see where we at and what are you doing? And Kim got out the car like nothing happened. And she fixed her hair and she told him, she said, I want to see you explain to the media that scratch I'm gonna put across your face if you put your hands on me again.
So in that last bit, you heard my man mention a very important person, the mother of Diddy's children, Kim Porter. And now, after this tape has been revealed, you have a lot of people digging into the real, true reason behind Kim Porter's death. Because the real shocking truth will turn this scumbag into a downright murderer. If you've been following our P Diddy series, then you know when it comes to Tupac's murder, there's a lot of people who think he did that shit. One of them is Eminem.
The day you put out a hits, the day Diddy admits that he put the hit out, they got Pac killed,
Even the guy who was sitting next to the guy who pulled the trigger on Pac said that they did it under Diddy's command. Then you add in the fact that Diddy's head of security says that he is capable of taking out Cassie when he gets the chance, you have yourself some very probable cause.
Savage! I'm a savage! Oh! I'm a savage! Whatever I want, I'm going to get! Whatever I want, I have to get!
This is the type of guy who will do anything to get what he wants. And for evil men like this, the biggest thorn in their sides is a strong, independent woman who ain't willing to take no shit, will argue with you with a drop of the hat while also having your children, and most importantly, ain't scared to cut off your goddamn hand.
I get a call. It's on a Saturday. They're like, yo, Gene, Puff is by himself over at St. Luke's Hospital. They say, yo, Gene, you gotta get over there because ain't nobody there with him. I see Kim. She's in distress because I did see a bruise on her face and I seen bruises on her arm. And then Puff was sitting in the chair and with the thing wrapped around his arm, telling Kim that This is how I make my living. You could mess up my whole living. He was trying to make her feel bad. He's sitting up there blaming her. And then she was like, yo, I told you to stop. You wouldn't stop. It almost severed the artery. Yo, he was bleeding like crazy. He had to have, some kind of surgery and everything like that. Kim said, because I asked her, Kim said that he wouldn't stop hitting me, and I grabbed the corkscrew and made a mistake and caught him on the wrist. It's a hell of a mistake, Kim.
Now, somehow, a woman like this, aka Kim Porter, went from being a very healthy, strong, independent woman to dying of pneumonia in just a matter of days. Even her ex-husband and close friends didn't believe that this was of natural causes, yo.
If you know what I know, he put Kim in a gold casket, then had security, 24-hour security at the funeral home, so nobody would go in there and touch the casket or take Kim out of there. I think that they should reopen her case and have an independent pathologist look at everything about her so she can rest in peace.
Now, some of you might be wondering, how is this relevant to Kim Porter? Well, you have to remember that when Kim Porter died, there were allegedly 2 coroners who did the autopsy. The first one was a very famous and very well-respected coroner who had done autopsies on Paul Walker, Whitney Houston, and even Michael Jackson. But for some reason, when he ruled Kim Porter's death a possible homicide, they shut his shit down and fired him. They then hired another, much younger coroner to give the cause of death as natural causes. So now you can understand why Diddy might want Kim Porter's body guarded 24/7. Because if the police even get the slightest idea they might want to reopen the case, it could spell complete disaster for P Diddlestein. And with Keefe D and Tupac's murder trial going forward in November, it could be a very cold winter for the Diddlestein.
The feds are so deep and involved in this that Diddy just might be called up on that Tupac shit once they go through the money trail. Once they go through the money trail and find out why certain people was given certain positions, it may be a problem. Because they're going to look at all that. Anything they can bring up, they're going to bring it up. That's why that tape of Cassie was released. So anybody who was willing to try to help him, anybody was trying to say that he ain't capable of doing this and he ain't capable of doing that, they got it right there on videotape.
Real talk, this shit is becoming more teen-tie than the whole Johnny Depp trial, yo. But in spite of all these new developments, all these receipts being revealed, it's still very possible that Diddlestein ain't going to jail. So, in just 6 months, over 7 women have come forward to accuse Diddy of sexual assault. Let me tell you, in prison, they don't take too kindly to this type of crime. But there's also one other thing that people in prison don't take too kindly to. Snitching.
Snitches get stitches.
According to Gene Deal, Diddy's former bodyguard, once upon a time, he took Diddy to have a very important meeting at a very important FBI office.
I'm in the car with Kirk Burrows and him and our driver, and we go down to 26 Federal Plaza. I know 26 Federal Plaza is the FBI office. What they went down there and what paperwork they took down there, I did not know until I found out later that he was working with an agent in DC, but he was arrested by an agent in New York because he didn't show up at the agent's office in DC. The New York agent arrested him.
And here's one other thing we know. When it came to getting girls at his secret parties, his freak-offs, Diddy was in very close contact with a mama son to get him women for hire.
Puff won't give a party tonight. They'll call like 10, 15 promoters. Yo, I need 10 girls, I need 15 girls, I need 50 girls, I need 75 girls, and those guys get paid for those girls coming to the parties. So it was this girl, you understand, and she was Nieves, I'm not gonna say her full name. You understand, she was one of the girls who used to work as a matter, but she also sold narcotics to her clients and to her girl. If Puff needed some girls there who had girls that were working, like I got these guys here and I know they're gonna want girls that are gonna go to the hotel with them afterwards. These girls are the type of girls that as long as they paying or they getting paid, they're gonna go with the guys because they know what the deal is anyway.
And that's where Diddy would get all his drugs and escorts from.
Well, her clients, And if they came through Bad Boy, they was her claims.
Now you might be thinking, okay, 那就是 hearsay 啊。I mean, 这个女生到底是谁啊？ Recently, there was an interview that got revealed where the very woman who was in contact with Diddy came forward, and she had a lot of interesting things to say.
Substances were then brought in, and women, and then at a certain point, you were asked to bring in a certain amount of substances more than you were comfortable with, correct?
Since that they were taking a liking into that product, they asked me to just set up, or they just wanted to know who my connect was, right? Which I was not able to give out. So then a few months later, he asked me, look, I just need product because whoever we were dealing with, that person got caught up or something happened, right? And he's like, I just need that one favor from you. I just hooked him up with a substantial bigger amount. I was meeting his friend that he introduced me to on an Upper East Side restaurant, like a luxury place. And the second I went in there, he kind of made a comment of like, oh, I have the money, which was really loud. That second, the feds stormed the entire restaurant. They took me down into handcuffs. I didn't know exactly what was happening. Why was that happening? This is a friend of his. So, and I didn't really understand as well the American system, right? How you can even set somebody up. Because as far as I know, it doesn't work like that in any other country, especially not where I'm from. You can't just do a crime and then set somebody else up so they're doing the time. That guy that said I have the money, if we both got arrested, as they claimed, he would have been my co-defendant, but he wasn't because he was an undercover agent.
So, my man is not only an R-word enthusiast, but he's also a goddamn rat who's willing to send his own people to prison. A sellout. Now, I could be mistaken, but if this fool ends up going to prison, there's gonna be a lot of people who will be more than eager to give him a very warm welcome.
Somebody's gonna have to give us some booty, and it's just that simple.
But then, come to think of it, he might actually like that. At least if you ask Meek Mill or Usher. But as eager as everyone is to see this man locked up, according to his former bodyguard, that ain't gonna happen.
Oh, it is over for him. And when they come out with this other stuff, he gonna come back to work. I wouldn't be surprised if he do the ultimate sin, his suicide. He's such a narcissistic that he couldn't stand not being somewhere and not being seen. His whole life, his whole career was about him being seen in the public. It was about him taking everybody else's dreams and making them his. And now, him nor his kids would profit from anything from Bad Boy or Sean Puffy Combs again. His kids is gonna suffer behind this.
So, I imagine if Diddy suddenly vacated the planet Earth unexpectedly as a result of substance abuse, wouldn't be a lot of people who would be very surprised. Because allegedly, this man's an R-word enthusiast, a woman beater, and a goddamn rat.
You go to hell! You go to hell and you die!
And if he did find himself in prison, not only would there be a fairly sizable group of people who don't take too kindly to the stuff that he's doing, waiting for him, but there also is a lot of Tupac fans who'll be willing to give him a piece of their mind. Oh, and there's also another thing. Do you remember that documentary that 50 Cent announced last year? Now it's been bought by Netflix. As a result, Diddy's own son has put out a diss song.
Knock them walls down like when them Fetty boys ran in both our cribs. Too bad they ain't know we bought the one next door, cause that's the one they missed.
Bro, are you dumb? You're gonna put out a song and publicly taunt the feds about the other house that they didn't raid?
You are so dumb. You are really dumb, for real.
When all they had was 50 Cent, who put this city on the map? They gon' try to stop these Eminems, and they gon' die trying.
And with 50 Cent's good friend Eminem releasing an album in June, I'm sure there's a lot of eager fans waiting to see if Slim Shady is gonna diss back on 50's behalf. Needless to say, this is all genius. And after the recent epic battle between Drake and Kendrick Lamar, we are all eagerly waiting to see if this will be the next hip-hop war of 2024. With that, 让我们继续看下去. Before you do that, make sure you leave a comment down below. Let me know if you think Diddy will end up going to jail. Subscribe, share this video with your friends, and I will see you on the flip side. Peace!